Presenting the Cones of Dunshire, a brand new gaming experience. 8 to 12 players, 2 wizards, a maverick, the arbiter, 2 warriors, a corporal, and a ledgerman. Now, the ledgerman just keeps score, and he wears this hat.
Oh boy.
Now, the object is to accumulate cones. 4 cones wins, but in order to get a cone, you have to build a civilization. The other amazing thing is the challenge play. Actually, let me tell you more about the trivia cards, because you're going to need to know about roadblocks first. No, never mind. The thing about the challenge play is that it's basically the game in reverse.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game. It's all about the game, and how you play it. All about control, and if you can take it, all about your debt. And if you can play it, it's all about pain. And who's gonna make it? I am the game. You don't wanna play me. I am control. No way you can shake me. I am heavy debt. No way you can play me.
Welcome, settlers, to Geek Salad episode 168. I've got wood for sheep. I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
I'm Joe.
I'm Katherine.
And joining us today is Catherine's husband.
I'm also Joe.
That's right. So we'll refer to him as such throughout the episode. So today we are discussing more adult-oriented party games and card games and board games. There seems to have been like a recent spate of these. You go to any... I mean, hell, you can go to Target, and there's like that section now of like grown-up card games.
Yep.
You go to Barnes & Noble, there's even more of them. There's
no longer do you have to go to Spencer's Gifts.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And settle for something kind of lame.
Right, exactly, because there is some brilliant stuff out there. A lot of it's being crowdfunded, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So it's nice that, you know, the general public is getting involved with their entertainment now instead of just having it being spoon-fed to them. So, yeah, so we are talking all about that. We've got some picks to talk about, some games that we're actually going to go over. But first, let's hit our Facebook feedback, where good friend of the show, Dave McLean, author of the Time Travelers Resort and Museum, available on Amazon, posted that I have a game based on the movie Labyrinth. It's a beautiful game. And by beautiful, I mean I always get to play David Bowie, who seems to be impossible to beat. The rules appear to be written by someone with a love of engineering manuals and a grudge against English speakers. My kids would rather prefer to play Dungeon, a board game version of Dungeons & Dragons, which combines the joy of sorting cards into tiny piles with the frustration of grinding through a dungeon crawl.
Yeah,
I've heard of that.
I played a game based on Labyrinth before as well. It involves turning dials while a ball goes on a maze.
Your age is showing a little bit
Yes.
there.
And
Like-
they make new versions of that one.
I got one for Christmas when I was 13 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Actually, it's interesting because that reminds me of a game that my brother-in-law introduced us to over the summer called Talisman. Very much the same type of thing. It's a Dungeons & Dragons game where you don't have to create characters. It's not an RPG, but it has a lot of RPG elements. You pick a character, you get to boot up your character's abilities and all that fun stuff, and you essentially are going through 3 circles of hell. At least that's as far as I could tell. By the end of it, you're rolling dice with death, and
Oh my goodness.
As a matter of fact,
but I do remember though. Sorry to interrupt, Joe. I do remember though. Most of the game does involve you sorting tiny cards into tinier piles.
nice.
You were saying, Joe? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, a buddy of mine runs a gaming store, and he browbeat me into picking up a copy of Dragonfire, which is an official license by Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast,
Dungeons & Dragons.
Dungeons & Dragons deck building game, wherein you start with a very tiny deck of very basic attacks, and as you kill monsters, you get loot, you spend the money, you buy better attacks. You're able to go through an entire campaign. Katherine and I tried it
Twice.
twice over this last week, and we couldn't pass the tutorial.
But
It is brutally hard.
we figure you definitely need 4 full characters. Like, well, if you only have 2 people, you can play 2 multi-class creatures. And it's, no,
actually,
you don't have enough kill to take care of all the monsters that they throw at you.
it's an action economy problem. They get so many turns, and there's more of them. You only get a few turns.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're supposed to hit them in order. Like, anybody can deal the first level of damage to the monster. But
Right.
then the wizard has to deal the next level of damage. And then it has to be a fighter. And then it has to be the rogue to finish it off.
Interesting.
And if you...
Way too complicated for a...
Oh, it's a right pain in the ass.
Somebody with an engineering degree and a disdain for the English language. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Why, yes.
I do have an English...
Are you leaving?
I do have an engineering degree, and I do have a disdain for the English language, as you can tell.
There you go.
And I still don't want to play this game. Just kidding.
So
Don't worry, I'll twist your arm.
I'm sure you will.
throughout the discussion, we might actually just discuss how a game is played. We also might play the game itself, which will be kind of cool. Does anyone want to start, or should we get on with the granddaddy of them all? And not really the granddaddy of them all. This game is only about 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, but I think it's the game that kind of set the standard for adult-based...
For the adult-based card games.
Adult-based party games.
Okay, and that game is Cards Against Humanity. So what I've done is we're going to play a basic round of this game. I handed everybody 3 cards as opposed to the typical 5. They have the white cards. I have a black card. The black card, I will read. They will look at their cards and hand me a card, and I will read off the best answer. And I will pick the best answer, and you would just keep going around until you win like 5 black cards.
Right.
So the black card is the prize. So, the black card says, what's the gayest? I love that everybody has already built stuff up in their heads. So then, as the game is played, you take that card, you go, what's the gayest? Starting a shitty podcast.
Kind of meta there.
Yeah, fuck you all.
We enter episode what?
Yeah, 168. What's the gayest? 10 football players with erections barreling towards you at full speed.
You can't say it's wrong.
No. What's the gayest? Getting eaten out by a dog. And what's the gayest? The lived experiences of African Americans. Jesus. Going with the football players on that one.
I'll take this one.
All right, good job, Joe. And in that case, Joe would get the card. So that is how the Cards Against Humanity do.
I should have played this one.
Oh, what do you have there, Mike? The full force of the American military.
Especially the Navy.
Yep. I know plenty of naval guys
You
will
definitely
fight you.
should have played that one.
Yeah.
I had starting a shitty podcast, and I was just like, please let the black card work with us. Please let the black card work with us.
So, the thing about Cards Against Humanity is it only works if everyone...
Has got a sixth sense of humor.
I was gonna go with... is super comfortable with each other. Because there's a bunch of stuff where you can just cross the line and ruins everyone's day, and a lot of it's just...
Was it the first time we all played it?
Remember that game that we played at Jim's house?
Yeah.
And Chris and his wife were there.
Well, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, but they're...
Oh, yeah.
His wife is kind of...
Right.
She doesn't have the same sense of humor that the rest of us did.
She was spelling out
Yeah.
the words, so... yeah, but I do remember we did one practice round. Like, just so everyone knew how the game was played. So I grabbed 1 black card and 3 white cards, and I was just like, so if the black card is, and it was the name of J.K. Rowling's new book, it will be titled, and the first card I pulled up was Daniel Radcliffe's Delicious Asshole.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jim and Joe, who are sitting next to each other, are essentially having to tent pole themselves to keep each other up from dropping dead of a heart attack.
The thing was when Jim laughed, he doesn't stop.
No, it's just this, yeah.
And then I get caught up in it, and I'm like, it's like we're feeding off each other, and it's like it's a stupid card. How the hell is this happening?
Right.
I just remember my favorite card that I've ever gotten was being balls deep in a hog while firing your 6 guns into the air.
I've seen that one.
I've gotten that one.
Well, the issue is that so much of it, a lot of the humor comes from putting you in an uncomfortable place, and if you got the wrong person in the room, it's just not good. I mean, you're at a party.
It becomes awkward, and everybody's like, "Oh."
So you have to know that you have to know who to play it with, and say, "Okay, this crowd, this is not appropriate," and get some, grab Cosmic Whip.
Well,
like
we played it at Christmas at my family's house. We played it was like 9:30 at night. We were all pretty well lubricated, so it was just all the kids were asleep, so it was just like all the adults, and we played it, and it was because my family hides nothing from each other. We bust each other's nuts all the time. It was just like, just let it flow. And it was so much. With the right crowd, it is a fun game.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would never play this because we always play this game in Maine with my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law. We would never ask my father-in-law or mother-in-law to play this game with us.
right.
Just because all I would hear is, you people are sick, pretty much throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
Well, like a couple years ago, when we went down to me and the family went down to North Carolina, Diane took the box with her. And I'm like, now my in-laws who live down there are very religious, very fundamentalist, people. Now they're very cool about it; they're not in your face, but there's some things we can't watch on TV because it makes them uncomfortable and stuff like that.
How many times in a visit do you get told "bless your heart"?
No, actually, not a lot. We didn't get a lot.
So you're not listening, is what I'm hearing.
But I was like, I told Diane, I was like, you don't want to bring this down and whip it out in front of your brother because it's going to be...
Whip it out's a good way of describing this game, actually.
Hence the big black box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our friends have the biggest blackest
dick.
Deck.
No, there's a card. The biggest, blackest dick.
But there's a box that is the biggest, blackest deck.
Yes.
With the biggest blackest dick inside.
You actually have to carve it out of the box.
They
it's
do
in like a hidden...
in the lining.
Yeah, it's hidden in the lining.
But, it's funny that you talk about this new wave of adult games. The companies that are putting these games out are very subversive, too, also in their marketing and the way they're like... Cards Against Humanity trolled everybody a few years ago when they told them, well, if you rip up one of our cards or something like that, rip up the box, it's like there's a special hidden card. And it was true, there was a special hidden card, but you'd see posts on social media, everybody ripping up boxes apart.
Cards Against Humanity, during the Malheur occupation, you remember when those Bundy rednecks occupied that random wildlife refuge? Shipped them a 55-gallon drum of lube.
Well, there was one lady who posted on Twitter that there wasn't enough glitter in her pack of her pack of Cards Against Humanity, so the company sent her a pack full of glitter. So when she opened it, it just went all over everywhere.
Pretty evil.
I'm sure she's still picking it out of crevices that she never thought she had.
Yeah, she's consulting a stripper to see how to get it off.
Right.
So Got Kesha on speed dial.
Who wants to take the next one?
I didn't realize we were focusing on adult games. I thought it was just cool new
Well,
games.
it's cool new games and
you're
party games and.
All right. So one that I personally love is Castle Panic.
All right.
Which is a cooperative game. So it's everybody at the table versus the game. So there's nobody that's gonna. There are ways to have like winners and losers, but we just play it, cards out cooperatively. It's a tower defense game where you are protecting the tower from the incoming monsters, and it's a really fun little game. And we have the expansion for the Wizard's Tower, which gives you magic spells that you can use, which is really helpful, and it also gives you more dangerous monsters like dragons and whatnot. And it's very clever the way that it counts the hit points by turning little tiles and advancing them in.
They're triangular tiles, and they have a 1, 2, and a 3 on them, and whatever number is pointed towards the castle is how many hit points it's got left.
And some of them
works
only
really
have
well.
1, some of them have 4. Yeah.
And they added it through, and the base game is very simple and straightforward. And then they've got like 6 expansions, might be more by now, we just have the Wizard's Tower. They throw in boss monsters with that, and there's they've got 5 hit points, 6 hit points. They move randomly to every turn, and it's just like, oh god, now what do we do? Some of them fly. It's like, okay, well, your swordsmen don't work, your knights don't work.
There's a lot of the games we're going to be talking about that are essentially part, like the larger part of an expansion pack.
Right,
Yes,
yeah.
I'll give you that.
Like talking earlier about Talisman. That game had so many expansion cards in it. My brother-in-law was just like trying to weed them out. So he's like, okay, and you drew... Nope, can't use that one. Nope, can't use that one either. I thought I pulled all these things out of here.
We like, the first couple times we played with the Wizard's Tower, we, like, put them all in and then took them all out, put them all in, took them all out. We're like, you know what? This game is just more fun with the Wizard's Tower, and because it's cooperative, you're not, you can explain to people, okay, so that card you have there. This is how we want to do it. And you can negotiate amongst the team and be like, okay... so we're plotting, and it's like, I've got a bunch of swordsmen, and the guys will be here any minute now, and I will get them. You have archers, and so you'll get the Cyclops when he hits the archer ring, and...
There's a lot of tabletop generaling.
Yeah.
All right, here's the game plan. Everybody sticks to the plan. We all go home tonight.
Yeah.
All right, Mike?
I just kind of like the get random off the top of my head things.
Again, party game.
Yeah, win, lose, or draw.
Based on the popular
TV show.
yes.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, that's showing my age a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's win, lose, or draw. Basically, it's you draw something and your team has to guess what it is.
Baby fish mouth?
Nice.
15 seconds.
A big baby mouth. Baby boom.
Baby...
Draw something resembling anything.
Baby,
Baby.
crying baby. Kiss the baby.
Baby spitting up. Exorcist baby.
Baby. Yes, sir, that's my baby.
No, sir. Don't mean maybe. That's it. Time's up.
Baby talk.
Baby talk. What's that? That's not a saying.
Oh, but baby fish mouth is sweeping the nation.
Yeah, no, those are definitely those are more like the type of tame games that you play with my in-laws.
Yeah.
Even though still, it would be a lot of my mother-in-law asking you to read again what the clue was. And I got Trivial Pursuit. No, can you read the question again? No, that's not right. No, that's not. One time, these words were exactly said in this order. Andy, go get the almanac.
Was it a question about rainfall in 1817? I mean...
So, yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, that kind of game is just a fun...
Yeah.
Get angry at your friends for being a bunch of idiots type of game.
Actually...
Set again!
I do have another one that... it's not explicitly an adult-oriented game, but the amount of cursing that comes out of me makes it very unsuitable for mixed audiences.
Monopoly?
No. I was going to go with Dragon Farkle, believe it or not.
Dragon Farkle's on my list.
Okay.
Dragon Farkle is a push-your-luck dice game where you pick a general for an army, and they're all kind of dorky and inadequate, and they have like certain special skills that you can use during the game. And you roll the dice to try to build up a big enough army to fight the dragon. And you have to be able to take out the dragon in a single round. So, like, if you don't manage, you start losing your army, and eventually they all die.
Oh yeah, it winds up being genocidal. You will go through 6,000 people like that.
But they're just cardboard coins, so who cares?
Yeah.
You just throw them at the dragon and hope you beat it. After we started playing Dragon Farkle, I was like, Joe, you have to see Dragon Slayer.
Well, the other thing is you can either recruit from the pool or you can directly go after the other person's stuff.
Yeah, you can try to steal the other people's army.
There's some serious hostility that builds up in very short amount of time.
Nice. So, another game on my list. Have you guys played... I mean, Matt Inman, who is the creator of the Oatmeal, the online comic. Lately, I have found that he is just like... He owns this category now of these card games. All crowdfunded. Mm-hmm. But The one that we first played, and we played this about 2 years ago. It's called Exploding Kittens.
Oh, we have a copy.
We've got the basic copy, yeah.
Yeah, and that is just... It's great because you just hold on to your cards and you flip your cards to try to stave off the inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game that only up to 4 people can play, which is kind of nice. You can't have like this thing where every round takes 20 minutes to do. It's a very quick game. It usually takes anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to end it.
Right.
Because if you're playing with 4 people, there are 3 exploding kittens in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
And you can try to stave off getting that exploding kitten for as long as you can, but when you get the exploding kitten, game is over.
It's over. You lose.
It's a fantastic game because there's a lot of great oatmeal humor in there. The Taco Cat is Taco Cat spelled backwards.
Yep.
And just the illustrations are just make the game because the oatmeal is just one of the best expressive with simple drawings comic strips you can read.
Yeah.
The Nope sandwich with extra Nope sauce.
There she goes. She got it.
I first played it here during one of our game nights while we were waiting for everybody else. The 3 of us played it, and I got such a kick out of it. I actually went out and bought it so I could play it with the kids.
Oh, what? Exploding Kittens?
Exploding Kittens.
Nice. They have another game called Bears and Babies, which we haven't played yet. I gave it to my brother-in-law, and we still haven't played it yet.
And then he's coming out with another one called Crabs.
Yes!
That I want to get.
Yeah, and then there's You've Got Crabs, which
Got-
is the expansion pack. You wanna read off some of those cards, Mike? Or Joe?
He's got a much better reading voice than I do.
Skip. Commandeer a bunny raptor. End your turn without drawing a card. See the future by asking the all-seeing goat wizard. Privately view the top 3 cards of the deck. Or just a random rainbow Ralphing cat. Hairy potato cat. Beard cat. Beard cat is awesome.
Yeah.
I want that beard. I don't think I'm allowed to have it. Nopestradamus speaks the truth. It's a nope. Nope.
All signs point to nope.
You thought you were going to play that? Nope. They have an expansion for it called Imploding Kittens that comes with a human-sized cone of shame.
Oh, man.
And cards that cause you to have to wear it.
Oh, man.
Well, the thing about Exploding Kittens is it's like that's another trend you're seeing in adult games. It's like you're seeing like these webcomics expand beyond.
Yeah.
You know, like the other one is Cyanide and Happiness.
Yes, Joking Hazard, which we actually have the cards for right here and can play a quick... Actually, I don't know if we really play this because it's really visual humor.
Yeah.
Well, the basic premise is it's Cards Against Humanity except with comic strips.
Yeah, comic strips.
Oh, yeah.
So what you do is you take... Everyone gets their own series of cards, and the judge at the time puts down the first 2 cards, and then you have to come up with the punchline.
Or in some cases, the first part
Is the punchline, and you have to put the story together for it. So they've got a punchline card is like blue nailing green to a cross.
The thing about Cyanide and Happiness is it's such wicked dark humor.
Oh, I mean, there are so many things in here. I mean, we saw somewhere that result in pregnancy. Some of the cards that start off, my wife just died. Let's see. You just fucked with the wrong fella. And then you get stuff like this one here that I'm holding where Blue has got an incredible erection and it looks like Green is going to go down on him.
Yeah, that or he's just
You know what it
gasping
is?
in
You ever
awe.
see Don Hertzfeldt's, what was it, Demented Cartoons? Okay, it's an old cartoon that was done that, you know, has some very famous lines like, my anus is bleeding, and,
Oh, yeah.
my spoon is too big. It's
I'm a banana!
and now angry ticks fly out of my nipples. It's functionally the movie version of that game. You wind up creating basically scenes from that. It's
Right.
It's perfect.
Right. Katherine, you got it? What else you got?
Ninja Burger.
Yes. We played Ninja Burger here last year for your birthday.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun.
Ninja Burger is your all ninjas working for a burger delivery joint.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you told me about this. I remember.
And you all like have special abilities. Like there's the really tall, skinny one that is terrible at disguise unless he gets the lampshade, at which point he's practically invisible. But he's really good at climbing, and one of the missions is that you have to deliver burgers to the space station. So you need a good climbing roll for that one. And it's just the flavor text is really hilarious on a lot of those cards.
Every turn you have to check to see who the ninja with the least honor is, and there's a chance that they don't get a real job. They have to go fulfill an errand for the franchise. Like, walk the mascot. It's a tiger. Your rivals are the pizza pirates. And one of the missions is to deliver to them without being recognized as a ninja.
A lot of absurdist humor.
Yeah.
It is very goofy and fun, and the illustrations on the cards are very cute.
There's
all kinds of equipment you can get, like the lampshade, the bunny slippers.
Bunny slippers. The text on it is, nobody's supposed to see me anyway, so what does it matter if I'm in dress code? They give you a bonus to stealth, I believe.
Yes, they give you a bonus to stealth, and your feet are comfy.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That there are interesting times that you can play on other players to make their missions harder.
You have to do it twice.
Oh yeah, sumo-sized order. You actually have to hit the way it's played. You get 3 6-sided dice, and you have to roll the target number or lower. And every ninja has the target numbers that you're looking for aren't on the mission; they're on the ninja that you have. So some ninjas are just naturally good at combat. Some naturally suck at it. Some are. There's one that's pretty lousy at everything, but because she's so cute, she gets a second roll every time she fails. There's it was just a disguise, which is just, the ninja unzipping, and it turns out it was another ninja the entire time.
Good.
Awesome.
The game ends when either the franchise's total honor is high enough that your manager gets promoted, at which point the current ninja with the most honor gets his job and they win, or the franchise's total honor is so low that your manager kills himself, at which point the ninja with the highest honor is promoted. And the game is over. I've had a few games end like that.
Nice. All right, Mike, what do you got for your next one?
This is kind of going off my list here, but I remember another one we played last time, I think at your birthday. Each character plays like a giant monster.
Oh, King of Tokyo.
Yes.
I enjoyed that game.
You, of all people,
I know,
who'd have thought?
Shocking.
I'm pretty
Did
sure.
we have the expansion then?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Me and Mr. Godzilla.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah,
I seem to remember Autumn and I got bumped out of the game really fast.
That happens, especially if you've got people that know what they're doing and people that don't. It's real easy to get screwed early.
I think I was one of the last 2 people. I might have won one of the rounds. I'm not sure.
It's a strong possibility. I've got King of New York, too. I haven't even unboxed that one.
Yeah, it's still in the shrink wrap.
That's been in the shrink wrap for years now. I just haven't cracked it.
That's okay. One of the games we'll be talking about in a little bit stayed in the wrap for about 3 years before we finally unboxed it this year.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, but being able to play a giant monster and, being able to crush your enemies, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing at all.
All right, what else do we have here? Yeah.
But one thing that I do got to say about it, though, you really have to get the Panda Kai expansion for it. Because the base game, all the monsters are identical.
Which is nice. I like that version.
But
if you get the Panda Kai expansion, it gives everybody a sort of deck of power-ups.
All right.
That is tailored to each individual monster. Like the Leviathan just has way too many hit points. The most certainly not King Kong gets bonuses for gets crazy bonuses to victory points.
All right.
But he takes damage doing it, so it's sort of a headlong dash. Godzilla
kind of like those 10 football players with full erections.
Yes.
All right.
The Mecha Godzilla thing just murders shit. It's terrifying.
Pretty sure that's the one I had.
That sounds about right.
There's Gigazor, and then there's a Robo King Kong.
And not Mothra, and not Ghidra.
Yeah, there's a lot of serial numbers filed off on the monsters.
Yeah.
Here's Jodan.
Yeah, right?
Oh, wow. Instead of also Joe or other Joe, you're now Jodan.
Jodan.
Terrifying.
Mike, you got anything else?
I mean, there's Seen It.
Yep. Now, Seen It's an interesting one because usually I'm brought in as what you would call a ringer.
Oh, okay.
Says the guy who worked at Suncoast.
Right, exactly. Going back to Trivial Pursuit. Oh, it's a pink question. All right, Andy. All the models are riding on you. And I only miss out on the stupid ones that I already know.
I was that when in my family's whenever we played Trivial Pursuit.
Yep.
Yeah, I was the ringer there. Because Circuit City.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Which Seen It did you have?
I'm pretty sure I had like the Marvel one, but it was the Marvel Seen It that was released right around Spider-Man 2.
Oh God!
So there was no MCU, there was no Iron Man. It was like
what Academy Award nominated actor played the Kingpin in 2003's Daredevil?
Basically,
wow.
yeah.
You gotta be kidding.
Yeah, no, it was Spider-Man 2.
I don't remember.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I have a really dumb question. I'm not sure if it qualifies.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Jackbox games, including, of course, You Don't Know Jack and the rest of it? Because they're definitely party games.
Yeah.
They're in the right vein, but they're video games. Do they qualify?
I played in You Don't Know Jack movies on my. I think it was like my 486 computer.
All right, family, gather around the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Gather around the monitor.
No, that's definitely a game that is not for the entire family.
First, we're going to watch the trailer to Fellowship of the Rings, and then we're
Come on.
There's a callback.
Come on, Mike. How many Earths can you cram inside Uranus?
Way too many.
62, 63 if you relax.
I'll allow it, by the way, even though we just had a conversation about it. Yeah. There's another game that we had called Fact or Crap, which is one of those free Cards Against Humanity games that you would buy at the mall during their seasonal calendar/board games area.
Oh, Jesus. That garish red and yellow box.
Yeah, exactly. I think we played it a total of like 4 times.
We played it twice. I was like, no, I can't get into this.
The booth that was nestled in between the I will massage your back and give you the
and Auntie Anne's.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you know I'm not wrong because it's an Auntie Anne's. They're all over every mall ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's a physical requirement at this point.
Yeah.
You cannot have a mall here if you don't have an Auntie Anne's.
It will literally just collapse the building like the house in Poltergeist.
Well, you need an Auntie Anne's at one end to hold up one end of the mall and a Panda Express at the other end.
It's been a long time since I've seen a Panda Express. We had this conversation last year, but
good point. But they're always just like some kind of
just shitty Chinese food.
Shitty
place.
Chinese food.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Shitty Wok.
I was just thinking
Cajun grill or something.
Yeah. Oh, got you Cajun grill. What do you have? Rice.
Bourbon chicken.
Kind of rice. Fried rice. Okay.
All right. Yep. You're Cajun. Guarantee.
They got bourbon chicken.
I don't know many Cajun Koreans, but okay.
And it's a chicken it's been sitting in bourbon for several years now.
Yeah. All right. Last one on my list is kind of the granddaddy of the do-it-yourself, get-a-crowdfund games, Settlers of Cattan.
Oh, God.
America's favorite sweepstakes, based on an award-winning Klaus Tauber German board game, is back at McDonald's. Come in and play Settlers of Catan.
Wood? Oh my God, it's wood! Is wood good?
Wood's great. Now you're just a sheep, a wheat, and a brick away from building a new settlement.
And then we win?
Not quite. To win, you'll need 10 victory points. Settlements are worth 1 point, and cities are worth 2.
What's a city?
Right, cities. So to build a city, you need to collect 3 rocks and 2 wheats.
Did you say 3 wheats and 2 rocks, or 2 rocks and 3 wheats?
This is the game that sat on the top of my bookshelf for 3 years, completely shrink wrapped, until we finally unboxed it this summer. I gotta say, I had a blast playing it. For as dry of a game as it is...
Is this like the adult version of Oregon Trail?
No, not really, because, I mean, you can buy the expansion pack with the Barbarian Hordes. I'm not kidding. But essentially, all it is you pick a place on the map, and you build your settlement there.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there are 4 of us playing, because usually it's a 4-person game, you just trade in things.
So it's Civilization.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's Sid Meier's Civilization.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's you trade things, and you build roads, and then you can expand out your colonies for cities. And then, you know, if I have 3 wheat, and I want to trade it for, you know, a sheep, or, what's the other one? The rock.
Oh, yeah, just stone.
Stone, yeah.
Yeah,
Though brick is separate from stone, don't forget.
Right. Right. No, you need brick. You need wheat to make brick because of the way that the ingredients work on that whole thing.
Yep, you need wheat to make brick, and you need brick to make roads, but if you're feeling particularly hardcore, you can just use 16 sheep and forge a road out of their bones.
the first time...
That's metal.
I only played Settlers of Cattan when it first got imported. It was Die Siedler von Catan, and you had to download the instructions off the nascent internet.
Oh,
to
God.
get the English instructions.
Oh, God.
That game has killed more of my friendships. Because as soon as someone gets out ahead, all trading with them gets cut off immediately.
Right. Right.
Like, if the real world operated like this, no American would have seen anybody from another nation since, I don't know, 1812 or so.
Right. Now, you can still get so if you need, you need a bale of wheat, you can trade 4 sheep for it through various pirate ships that are buoyed on the coasts.
Yes, and if you get one of the trading hubs, you milk that sucker for all it's worth.
Oh, you do.
Absolutely. All of a sudden it's like, okay, so how can I just maximize this one resource that they're looking for and get everything I need for the rest of the game?
Yeah, it's a civilization.
Right.
Yeah,
So
that's not out of line.
So you trade your wheat for what?
You can trade your wheat for wood. You can trade it for stone. You can trade it for sheep.
Oh, you.
I've got wood for sheep.
Yes. As is the title of the show. It is a fun game, but it's one of those games that requires a lot of patience, even more alcohol.
And how many of your settlers die of dysentery?
None.
Then
There is no death in that game, believe it or not.
what's the point?
Or do you fight each other?
No.
You
Well,
have to-
no,
you have
you
to-
can fight each other off the game, you know, when you're like, you motherfucker, give me those sheep.
There's only a culture victory.
Okay.
And it's just the first person to build enough cities and roads that they're out ahead. Everybody's in awe of them. It's Elon Musking the game. I mean, that's... Good call on your next one, Catherine.
Go ahead.
All right, so my next game, which is totally an adult playing card game, although you can play it, it is safe to play with kids, but it was designed by people that wanted a game that they could play while they were so stoned they couldn't keep the rules straight. This is Flux.
All right.
So Flux is like a basic, draw one, play one. All the rules are on the card. It explains exactly what to do. As you add more rules and change the game and change the goal of the game, you put it down so it's all there on the table.
When you start the game, there's literally no way to win.
Yeah.
You will draw into goals over the course of the game. When you play the goal, that's the new plan. If there are cards called keepers, goals generally require that you have a combination of 2 certain keepers. And every other card that isn't that changes the rules of the game. So you start off drawing one, playing one, no hand size limit. But you can play a draw 5 card. Now on everybody's turn, they're drawing 5 cards, but only playing 1. Then you can play a hand size limit. Everybody's only allowed to have 2 cards, so now you're all discarding at the end of the turn. You play 3 cards. You draw 5, play 3, hand size 2. You're good.
And this was made for people who smoke weed, you say?
Yes.
All right.
Goal: milk and cookies. The player with milk and cookies on the table wins.
Oh yeah, I'd be going to the kitchen.
Yeah.
Winning the lottery. The player with dreams and money on the table wins. And this is all.
I would lose that one.
This is all the basic game.
Dreams and money.
So this
I've got dreams but no money.
So this is a game. They come up with different flavors. It's not actually expansions that are all played individually. So the ones that we have is Basic Flux, Eco Flux, which is a very hippy dippy version that my mother loves,
Must have been in Vermont.
and my personal favorite, Pirate Flux,
Ooh.
which we were introduced to at my friend's house, and I saw it, and I was like, wow, then we must play Pirate Flux because I know that Joe can do an amusing
It's got
pirate
the font
accent.
for One Piece.
One of the rules in it is talk like a pirate. You get to draw an additional card if you talk like a pirate.
Menards!
If you've been talking like a pirate since your last turn, you get a second additional card.
So there's a lot of "aye, matey" as you're playing along.
Yar. When is Ninja Flux?
Oh, that's out.
That's
We don't
got it,
own a
that's got
copy, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
there's
thing.
a lot of versions of Flux. These are just the 3 we have, but there's tons. And just like there's a Star Trek version of Settlers of Cattan.
Yep. But
Settlers of Cattan, as in that planet Cattan 5.
you know that
It's
Flux,
not-
Light years away.
It's an M class, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Flux is a
God,
brilliant.
David Kirk, the Prime Director, says you can't screw the Settlers of Cattan.
Yeah,
Well, if they're
never,
green, then fuck the Prime Directive.
never
so.
stopped them before.
Yeah.
He's supposed to get the Prime Director for a lot less than green before.
That's true. But I once saw the game get caught in a loop. We were all. I was in college. The rules had evolved to the point where it was like draw 3, play 1. So our hands had gotten huge over the course of the game. Nobody was letting anybody else win, and the only cards left in the deck were 3 copies of draw 3, play 2.
Oh no.
And someone played the first one, and we all just looked at him and said, "And now we're stuck." This is it. There's literally no way to end the game now. Thanks.
Way to go, assholes.
Technically, by some definitions, the game is still going on.
Oh boy. All right. Does anybody have any other games that?
Well, I've never played it, but
Yeah.
I know it's a derivation of like Cards Against Humanity and Joking Hazard. It's what do you mean?
Yes. I've seen that.
Where
seen
basically
that, yeah.
it's I guess the black card and the quote unquote black card is just a picture, and then you get a bunch of different memes, and you have to lay down which one you think works best for that picture.
Internet the card game.
Yeah, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's the Thunder Dungeon, the card game.
Good lord.
But probably a lot less volatile.
Oh, another great game. Carcassonne.
Okay.
Have you played Carcassonne?
No.
Okay, so
I
it's
think I've had it before.
it's another European game. It's German.
Oh.
And Carcassonne is a region in France with a lot of stuff is there. It's a tile building game,
Yeah.
and the objective is to sort of lay the place out without leaving any gaping holes in reality. You've got to match, city to city, road to road, field to field. There are monasteries, and as you place it, you get like 9 little meeples. You know what a meeple is, right?
No,
They're little wooden like figurine toy guys.
Yeah.
It's like a
Okay.
people, but it represents you. So it's me and it's a people, so it's a meeple.
There you go.
Kind of like a weeple.
Distant relation.
Okay.
So, as you place your tiles, you put down the meeples, and when things are completed, you pick them back up and get to score the points for doing that. Like, the abbeys are only completed when the 8 surrounding tiles are all filled in,
Yeah.
and you get 1 point for each tile and the tile it's on. So they're worth 9 points if you can complete them. And then if you put them on the road, they're abandoned, and you get 1 point for every tile that has the road. If you put them in a city, you get 2 points for every tile that has a city, but only if the city is finished before the end of the game.
The cities are basically just building the walled fortresses of the medieval era.
The tricky part is farmers. Farmers you put on the field, laying down when you play the cards, and they're the only ones you never get to pick back up, and you only score them at the end of the game. There were 3 points for every city that their continuous field touches. It's complicated, and it's almost impossible to calculate out how much you're going to get out of a guy ahead of time.
Right.
It's a real gamble to do it, but it pays off in the end more often than not. And it's just a super chill game. Everyone sits around, goes, "Yep, that's a city."
Yeah, you draw one tile at a time. There's no that's like there's my tile. Where am I going to put it? And it's very the artwork is very simple and pretty, and I like it, and I don't think I've ever won.
But it's another one that I highly recommend. I got my copy when I won a card tournament out in Western Mass once. And I was super happy with it, and it's just a great game. Highly recommend it.
So I found one that I haven't picked up yet, but I took a picture of it and sent it to Autumn because she would appreciate this one. It's called Bards Dispense Profanity. A party game based on the words of William Shakespeare.
Oh dear.
To be profane or not to be. Alright, so I'm thinking about getting a lower back tattoo of, and then they have actual quotes from Shakespeare. Cupid's butt shaft. Our synagogue. Or my Uncle Clarence. And then, just like Cards Against Humanity, you pick the best answer.
Of course.
So,
That has a lot of possibilities.
Actually,
I am intrigued.
It does. I might have to pick that up. That might be in Autumn's stocking this.
That's
this
great.
Christmas,
That's high
because
quality.
That just seems like yeah, exactly. It's funny though, because I went to go look for a game for Autumn. I was thinking about getting her like Bears and Babies or one of those games. I texted her sister, who told me just get Joking Hazard. We played it like 3 times. The first time we played it, it was New Year's. Most of us weren't really all that into it. Plus,
I thought it was fun.
I thought it was a fun time, but it was the issue is with some of these games is that not so much you're in the right company, but sometimes people need to be able to read clearly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or speak English.
Okay.
Or be a native English speaker who can't read. I'm not naming names, but you all know who I'm talking about.
Nope.
All right. Huh? What? Yeah. So yeah, that's that was that. Anyone have any other games? Because this is a really, really quick.
Well,
discussion.
we could just go through our closet.
No, you could.
There's
that pantry on the left there is stacked floor to ceiling with games.
Jesus.
I would like to discuss something that's worth pointing out. The idea of the Bisquick game. Now, have you ever heard of a Bisquick game?
No. I think that's peculiar to your college.
All right, fair enough. But it's a good concept, I'm telling you. So there are these board games that take forever to set up. Whether it's Axis and Allies or Twilight Imperium.
Oh, yeah.
And Twilight Imperium has a hard set of like 10 rounds max, and I've seen that game go 16 hours. It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, you're bringing up. I'm getting flashbacks right now because of Axis and Allies. So.
Oh yeah. Oh
fuck that game.
The worst part is there's always that one guy. You get like 5 hours into it, and then they go, "Can we do something else?" And that's when the twitching starts. Because you can't actually kill him. So, the solution is simple. When everyone agrees we're going to play this game, whether it's Twilight Imperium, Axis, or Allies, whatever, you pour a cup of Bisquick. You want to leave? You eat the Bisquick first.
Ugh.
So, the Bisquick game became a sort of genre unto itself at my college, and I've always found it was a really good descriptor for us. That's that one classic game where it's, okay, we're going to need 3 tables for all the maps, and there are charts involved, and...
Oh, Jesus.
Hope you all pissed in your own dorm room, because you're not getting up from the table.
Yeah, you're not leaving.
Yeah, I was always the England and British team.
Oh.
My older brother was America, and my sister was the Axis.
I don't think I've never not played that game when I had one person who was obsessed with like the Axis history of World War II, and they would just exploit every weakness that you had.
There's always one.
Where Abu's.
It was bad. Freshman and sophomore year. I wish Jim was here for this because Jim and I had to sit through this hell together.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. It was not fun.
I would imagine not.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it takes Stratego.
Oh, God.
Yep.
And just makes it much, much worse.
I was the 2011 Stratego World Champion, I'll have you know.
He's not kidding. He's got a classic, 50th anniversary edition? Or...
Does it come with commemorative epaulets for your shoulders?
Come on, man.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Done up like a
Oh! And then you gotta dig in there for the rest of it.
It's done up like a nice old history tome. It's it's a classy setup.
Oh, Napoleon only wishes he had it that easy.
What?
So this was
Stomple.
I'm not pulling it all the way out because it's way too noisy a game. But it's a very it's called Stomple. It's kind of niche, but I can't recommend it highly enough.
It's a quick game. It's something that you can play in, like, all 5 of us could play it and we'd be done in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's very noisy, however. Probably doesn't work great for a podcast. It's, do you remember the old... It reminds me of nothing so much as, do you remember the old Windows 95 game Jazzball?
I don't,
I think I do.
Where you were supposed to cut the field in half and keep the ball on one side.
Yeah.
And the tighter the box you could put the ball in, the more points you got.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that as a board game.
Huh.
But what it is, you get you lay out this, it's all marbles. And you set up this whole field of, 10 by 10 of marbles or something like that.
Yeah, and
they all sit on these things on on a nice wooden board with little foam rubber circles. And then you can stomp the marbles through that are the same color as your little pedestal guy.
Ah.
And so you jump around and you're trying to make sure that you have enough of your marbles left. No, it's like you don't just stomp. You stomp a series of marbles in different colors, trying to take out all of your friends' marbles, and leave yourself alone.
It's a quick game. It's easy to pick up, but if you get more than 3, it's supposed to be playable for up to 6 people.
Yeah.
But if you've got more than 3 people going, it is mayhem. The field is just not big enough for everybody.
Right. Oh, man.
And then you've got that one vindictive guy who comes hunting you every turn. It's like, really, guy? You had to do that?
Every game has got that one dude.
Yep.
Who's like, you've got a target on your back.
One of my favorite gaming stories was the guy who melted down but we wouldn't tell him the unspoken rule. We're like, it's unspoken, we can't tell you. The unspoken rule, of course, is no one wins twice in a row. But now I've spoken it, so I don't know.
It's no longer a rule then.
Oh no, that rule's forever.
Dude, you talked about Fight Club. God damn it. All right, so that was our games. That was an interesting and brief conversation.
Yeah.
Which is good after last week's
Oh, yeah.
two-parter. No, God, that didn't
No,
make
it was
it
a
a
two-parter
two-parter.
before that one.
Yeah, and then that one. So
Yeah.
we needed a bit of brevity here. So got a couple of house cleaning things in terms of movies and such to talk about before we wrap the show up. So this week, it was revealed that DC has hired James Gunn, formerly of the Guardians of the Galaxy, to script their now reboot of Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Thoughts before I rant?
There is, and I'm sure this is what you're going to rant about, but there's no way DC is going to give him the creative freedom he needs to make this work.
Right.
They're already rebooting?
Yes.
Wow.
I
knew that... Yeah. Oh, sorry. I knew that DC was really struggling. Apparently they're making 2 standalone Joker movies at the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't know what
and a Batman movie that has nothing to do with Ben Affleck of the DCEU. They don't have a Superman.
Right.
Yeah, they've rebooted everything because, hell, they lost everybody. This is why they can't catch up with Marvel. The reason why Marvel has worked is because they take an actor, and that's who you are. Robert Downey Jr. is still fucking Iron Man.
Right.
Yeah.
He's still Iron Man. It's been 10 years. He's still in the same role. They're never letting him out. Let's all face facts. And quite frankly, if he gave it up, he'd probably go back to being Robert Downey Jr., which isn't healthy for anybody. So really, in the long run, it's the best option. Or, Cap.
Yeah.
Chris Evans, yeah.
Chris Evans is Captain America. He's gotten older, but he's still playing the same role, and it gives it a level of continuity that you just can't find in the DC movies.
No.
Like, if they had managed to hang on to Christian Bale and have him keep playing Batman, that would have given it a level of continuity that would have allowed it to compete.
Right. Their issue with that was because that was the one time they kind of got... WB got burned by getting an auteur to make their movies. He's like, I'm making these 3 movies, and I am definitively ending them.
No, actually, he said, I'm making these 2 movies, and I think, oh, can you make a 3rd one? Fine, but I don't really want to, so I'll throw out this piece of shit.
But then it's also, like you said, he is an auteur. He doesn't want to be part of a larger cinematic unit. He doesn't want his Batman to be...
It's not a tentpole.
It's not a comic book movie. He wants it to be a film, you know.
I do want to point this out.
And there's nothing wrong with it because, I mean, the Dark Knight trilogy is a great Dark Knight.
Yeah, the first 2 movies are amazing.
Fantastic,
yeah.
And the other problem that Marvel had been building up this steamroller for a while and gaining speed, and DC tried too late to jump on and tried to accelerate it too fast to catch up,
and they just crashed.
And they couldn't. Yeah, they completely crashed into the brick wall of their own brain.
Well, they
and
went out of their way.
And they also were like, "We'll get Zack Snyder," and it's like Zack Snyder hates, these
Superman.
He hates these kinds of movies, and he's generally, he makes, artistic movies that are very interesting to look at, but don't make a hell of a lot of sense. And so you're not going to get any character building from him at all. And that's the other thing that Marvel has always done better than DC, both in comic and in movies, is building characters.
Yeah.
Joe, I just want to point something out that you mentioned about Chris Evans.
Mm-hmm.
I recently I retweeted this today. This is from at Alexis Ned. I want a Food Network show that's just Chris Evans traveling around the country eating all the carbs that he couldn't go near when he was contractually obligated to look like a living god at all times.
I'd watch the crap out of that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
he seems like such a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah,
he's from suburbs.
Yeah, exactly. I have actually within 6 degrees of separation from him.
Nice.
But yeah, he seems like a genuinely nice guy. I mean, I follow him on Twitter, and the guy he's funny. 2, he doesn't take bullshit from anybody.
No.
He's just so pure.
Yes. Sorry, Katherine, you were saying?
I don't know. Did you see Snowpiercer?
I actually want to see that. I heard that's actually a very good movie, Snowpiercer.
Yeah, but
it brings out the raging leftist in me.
Yeah, that's another thing that, he's in that, Tilda Swinton's in that, a bunch of other people are in that, and also that's another movie where he didn't get to eat a lot because he was on the poor train where they only,
protein bars made out of bugs,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, going back to James Gunn going to DC, it's not going to, I don't think
this was a prize for DC to win, and nothing more.
Because DC's going to do, or I don't want to say DC, Warner Bros. Is going to do what they're always going to do. They're going to interfere. They're going to get their hands into it. The executives are going to we got to get this out before, we got to get our bonuses.
Right, exactly. They're going to sit on their balls yet again.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the thing with this, too, is, and Mike and I were talking about this yesterday, that James Gunn did an amazing thing. He took this no-name group of comic book characters and made them something. Made them A-listers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People are already, even if this is a reboot of Suicide Squad, people are familiar now with Suicide Squad, even because of that shitty movie.
So he has to play within an existing sandbox.
Well, think of it this way, too. By the time Suicide Squad 2 comes out, there's going to be Birds of Prey already going to come out, and the Harley Quinn solo movie is going to come out. So people are going to already know these characters, and like Mike said, he's got a very kind of box that he has to work in.
I've got a scorching hot take for you.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good, and the guy who played the the pyrokinetic there.
Yeah.
Absolutely put that movie on his back and carried it.
Yeah.
He was the best thing in a very bad movie.
Yes, definitely.
It took me 3 times to get through that movie. The first 2, I couldn't get past the intros. I couldn't get past the first 20 minutes of the movie because it was so full of itself.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
it was like, I think I used the term on our last episode. Essentially, it was nothing but like classic rock ejaculate for like the first 20 minutes.
Well, you know what it was? David Ayers was so full of himself after Fury.
Yeah.
That he's just like, I can do no wrong.
Well,
and then they took his script that it took him 6 weeks to write,
and they let a trailer company edit the movie.
Oh,
yeah.
That
explains a lot.
The movie was final edited by a trailer company.
They did the way they didn't like his cut, so they brought it to Trailer Park, the trailer company, because they loved the trailer. They cut it. They hated that too, so they blended the two together.
Misery by committee.
Yeah, it's just not.
My thought on this is, I see a glimmer of hope in that it can hardly get worse.
Oh, it can.
This could be
the kind of thing that drives James Gunn back to indie movies.
I think he's already been heading that way anyway.
Well, yeah, but this could destroy his blockbuster Hollywood career.
Speaking of all this, is Guardians of the Galaxy 3 actually permanently shelved?
Yes.
It's on indefinite hiatus right now.
They still have his script, which they say that they will eventually use.
And I think that
but Bautista's not going to act in it.
Well,
no, Bautista will act in a James Gunn written script because he's contractually obligated to 3 movies.
Yeah,
I could see him telling them to go stuff it.
Yeah,
He's really angry.
He's been right now on Twitter. He's been begging James Gunn to cast him in Suicide Squad 2.
Right. The thing with Dave Bautista versus everybody else is that Dave Bautista did not make his money in acting. He didn't make it in Hollywood. He was a very shrewd businessman who invested his wrestling money very, very well. This acting thing really is just a successful side gig for him.
Yeah.
It's like, Harrison Ford is like the world's most famous carpenter.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that is his actual profession, is carpenter, not actor.
No, that's not true.
I know, it's a joke we used to have in college, though.
Actually, I've heard some people say that Bautista would be a really good Bane.
He could
pull it off, yeah.
He could pull it off, You saw that's the thing, is that I can no longer accept Bane without that ridiculous voice anymore.
Well, hey,
you asked me to follow up the greatest villain in movie history.
It's still better than Bane Smash.
I'm going to say Bane's never been played by Sean Connery.
Well, no. Actually, it was like a mix of Connery and Goldfinger, actually.
It really was, actually. Now that you
Mr.
mention
Wade,
it.
I expect you to die.
Wow, holy shit. Mind blown.
Yeah.
I got in trouble the other day. I told Katherine that I gave her the darkness speech from Bane, but it was for the internet because I was born there. It's where I live. It's where I dwell. It's where I belong. Which is a terrifying concept.
Yes, exactly.
It is.
Can we move on to The Mandalorian?
Yes, okay. Last week?
Last week.
Was it
Star
last
Wars,
week?
The Mandalorian, Jon Favreau's
The
new
Jon
show.
Favreau's live-action Star Wars show. We finally got a title,
And
A synopsis.
and a first image, and a synopsis. It is, as Joe mentioned, The Mandalorian. Go ahead, guys, because I didn't read a whole lot about it because I want to be eloquently surprised by it. My sincerest hope is that this isn't more betwixt episodes 3 and 4 filler. Like
No. This one's post Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
It's post Return of the Jedi.
Right.
It's after the Fall of the Empire, but before the Rise of the First Order, and it's going to take place away from the events of the galaxy. This is Outer Rim, unknown regions,
Wild Space.
Oh, because that worked out so well for Solo. I love the movie, don't get me wrong, but that film got panned pretty hard.
I have more confidence in this because, one, Jon Favreau is producing, and the list of directors he's got for the first season is top notch. Taika Waititi, Bryce Howard.
Bryce Dallas Howard, yeah. The pilot's being directed by
Dave Filoni, who did the Rebels and the Clone Wars series.
I saw Alan Taylor's name.
Yeah,
Yes.
Alan Taylor.
It's already was in there as well. Game of Thrones director.
One of the directors for one of the directors / showrunners for Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Eileen Chow or something
Oh,
like that.
okay, yeah.
And then Rick Fuji. He's a black man with a Japanese name.
Okay.
But he's actually does a highly acclaimed series. I can't remember.
Didn't he also direct Dope?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And that was pretty critically acclaimed too.
And it's getting over $100 million budget.
Yeah.
Where is it going
for
to be
an
airing?
episode series.
Guess what?
Holy crap.
Disney streaming service.
The streaming service 2019. So Disney is pulling out all the stops.
They are
the
putting
show.
a lot of money and a lot of really high profit.
I think it's absolutely investing in this streaming service.
It's basically the Rifleman in outer space is what it is.
Yeah, as opposed to Titans.
That was one of the best reviews. That was such a
I
nice
read
little
that.
break.
That was such a great bad
Robin
review.
stabs a dude in the nuts. The higher up said I am required to write more than that.
With garden shears.
With garden shears, that's right.
This is the sloggiest slog
I've ever had to slog.
Seriously, go to Collider.com and read the review for Titans. It's a wonderfully written bad review.
Yeah, he's like, he gave it 1 star, and he's like, look, I understand so good it's bad television. I gave 3 stars to God Friended Me.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not snooty. Let me tell you, I'm not snooty. This show just sucks.
It's funny because, DC's got this streaming service, which has got very little fanfare. Like, when Disney's streaming service comes out next year, you're gonna fucking know about it.
Oh, dude, when I'm going to D23 next year again.
Yeah.
And that's going to be right around the time that the streaming service is about to come out. So that's going to be all over the D23.
There's so many different streaming services at this point. There's going to be more. Can we just get them to sort of like be bundled together?
You mean like the cable company?
Why, yes.
Actually, I recently subscribed to a big old bundle one that's got Crunchyroll, it's got Funimation, it's got Nick Splat, and it's got like Nerdist.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the prosecution rests.
It's only $10 a month.
Like I said.
Yeah, well, as opposed to $200 a month for your cable service.
Yeah.
Not mine anymore. We went basic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you have a decent speed internet connection, and that's all you really need.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, we don't need cable. They're like, well, if you do internet and phone, we'll give you cable for $7 a month. That sounds fine.
Yeah, why not?
Well, my wife just crossed the Rubicon today. I finally put Showbox on her phone because she wants to watch Outlander before the new season begins. You guys have met my wife.
Yeah.
Andy, I'm right there with you.
I know. So
I have it so good.
my mother gave her Starz logins, but my mother subscribes to Xfinity. Starz apparently has a blood feud against Xfinity. Out of all of the different cable providers you can use Starz with, you can't use Xfinity with it.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Because I was doing Xfinity on demand. Yeah,
for Starz?
Yeah, that's how I watched.
No, you can watch Starz on Xfinity, like on demand.
Yeah.
But if you use their app, which is what we were doing, you cannot do that.
Oh, okay.
So yes, I finally put all cast on her phone. I put Showbox on her phone. That's how we watched the entire season of Full Dark already.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dark Pole.
We have to finish getting caught up. Did we actually make it to the end of season 2 of Jessica Jones?
Not yet.
Oh my god!
I'm still working on that one.
I haven't even started season 2.
Just finished Luke Cage season 2.
And now
I haven't started Iron Fist, and then Daredevil's coming out this month.
And now I've got to add.
It's like we got homework, man.
Yeah,
I've got American
2 episodes.
American God season 2 on Starz.
When is that coming out?
It's streaming now on Starz.
Is it?
Yes.
Keeping up with the Joneses, man.
No, I didn't think they filmed it yet.
No, it's
When does filming start? It's out now. What?
God damn it!
Get caught in a time loop or what, man?
Yes, I did. I gotta go on the app right now and find that out. So, God, I hate that. You open up the Stars app, it always makes the noise. So does anybody else have anything to say before I put this whole thing away and go watch season 2 of American Gods? No? All right then.
Cosmic went out.
I'm sorry. It's just they just released the trailer.
Oh, God, Joe, you tease me. So anyway, next episode is our 11th annual Halloween episode.
Yeah.
Yay!
And we're gonna go to the well, and we're actually gonna hit the Universal monsters.
Classics.
So all the black and white classics of yore.
Not the Tom Cruise.
Fuck off. Dark universe. Their one movie expanded universe.
There were moments in the movie, but in general, it wasn't that great.
You understand why it failed, though.
Yeah.
You are Mike C. all reincarnated.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there were moments that I
It
enjoyed.
wasn't that bad.
Of what?
The Mummy.
The Mummy.
Oh,
No, not the Brendan Fraser Mummy. The Tom.
yeah, I
Cruise
know.
Mummy.
I
Which
know.
is strangely the good one.
The Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
that
because
was
it has it's a great little romp.
Yeah.
Whereas
it doesn't take itself serious. It's very self-aware. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
yeah.
Yes.
You mean a movie where the sequel ended up starring The Rock for no apparent reason?
We're not talking about the sequel. We're talking about the Mummy.
Right.
with some of the worst CG
The worst
ever
CG
made.
I've ever seen in a big
Since
budget movie.
that doesn't involve a mustache.
Right.
No. To be fair, even that was better than the Rock CG in the
Yeah, but barely.
They should have done it old school. The original Joker on the Batman TV show had a mustache.
Yeah.
And they just
they just
powdered the crap out of it.
Us, Cesar Romero. We miss you.
You were the consummate professional. So yeah, we're talking all about Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein,
Wolfman.
So,
Phantom of the Opera.
question.
Yes.
Are we also talking about the Abbott and Costello meet all of those movies?
Oh yeah.
Briefly.
Cool.
Well, right,
Things
we'll
are looking
talk
up.
about Abbott and Costello go to Mars. Which they don't do. They actually go to Venus.
Yeah.
Yep. Continuity, folks. Continuity.
How do you miss that turn?
So if you have any favorites you want us to talk about, you can email us at geeksaladradio@gmail.com. You can let us know on our Facebook page, which is Geek Salad Podcast, and at Twitter at Geek Salad Radio. You can also check out every episode in our archive, or all the good episodes of our archive, at the Podbean app, geeksalad.podbean.com. Also available on Stitcher, on iTunes, on Google Music, and you can check us out on YouTube. Not only do you get the audio versions of the shows there, you also get our weekly movie reviews and or Disney recaps.
Or
and
whatever
the hell. A couple weeks ago, Joe joined us, and I drank on screen while we ranted about DC.
Yeah.
Right after the Cavill firing. Ugh. So, yes, many things going on. A lot of content. So definitely don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and subscribe to us on geeksalad.podbean.com. So until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
I'm Joe.
I'm Katherine.
Oh, and thank you also, Joe.
No. Joe Dan.
Joe Dan. Thank you, Joe Dan.
I will wear my new name with pride.
Go for it and be nerdful. Talk to you later.
What's so funny?
Oh, no. You're a smart guy. You clearly picked up some flashy tricks, but you made one crucial mistake. You forgot about the essence of the game. It's about the cones.